Welcome to Finding Solutions with eBay Joey and Stevie D. Welcome to a Reseller's Journey presents Finding Solutions. I'm your host, eBay Joey, and my co-host, Stevie D. And if it is your first time, welcome. And if not, welcome back. Happy birthday, Stevie D.
Thank you, my man. The big 4-0 finally has come and gone. And
Oh, man.
listen, I'm young at heart. My boys keep me young. My friends keep me young. The hustle keeps me young. Some weeks it makes me feel old, but generally keeps me young. And listen, you are what you feel. So if you don't feel 40, you're not. I have a good time with it. But thank you for the love. I appreciate it. And thanks to everybody out on Instagram who sent some love as well. I do appreciate it big time.
Yeah, that was cool, man. I think everybody had a good time with that Guru Stevie D picture. And so it's all about having fun, man. And today we got a jam-packed show. We're still playing catch up. This is it, Stevie. We're finally getting caught up to, when we asked for questions, we just got bombarded. So thank you to everybody that submitted your questions. We got one via email. So shout out to the emailer. And then we got two that were DM'd to us. So what we're going to be talking about is question one is how you clean shoes that you thrift. Question number two, negotiating a price, both perspectives from buying and selling. And then the third question is how do you keep up with family, work, and your side business? So those are all very good questions, and they don't flow together, but they're really good questions. So I'm excited to answer them all. You ready, Stevie?
I'm ready. Action-packed show. Let's do it.
So number one, what are some quick methods to rejuvenate shoes that you bought from a thrift store?
All right, so I still do thrift. I pick up shoes, yard sale, thrift store, you name it. And I have currently a death pile over to my left here now of about a dozen that I need to clean up. But, some of the basics that I do is I'm very picky when it comes to the initial condition buying at a thrift store or a yard sale. If it has, torn up heels, if it's got a lot of wear on the sole, I really try to buy something that's already in half decent shape. I mean, unless it's just an absolute home run shoe and I gotta have it, then I'll, be a little bit more passive of what I pick. But I'm trying to pick up something that's half decent. And, some of the basic tools of the trade, I know a lot of people are used to the toothbrush. I get a little file, pointy tip file to pick out little rocks out of the tread in the bottom of the shoe. I personally use a gel oxy spray that I spray. I spray it all over the shoe. I'm actually pretty generous with it. I hit it with a toothbrush, hit the spots pretty hard, and then I let it soak in for an hour or two before I actually take it. And not a lot of people like to hear this, to the washing machine. I know a lot of people are scared of throwing shoes into the washing machine, but I do it. I have no issue with it. I usually will pull the laces out so they don't get caught in the spoke of the washing machine itself. I might soak those in an OxyClean solution with water in a cup to the side and then put them back into the shoe when it's done. Um, and that's the basic of what I do. I mean, sometimes I got to use a little extra elbow grease. I do have a little like a hand scrub brush that I'll use into the soles a little bit. Paint or marker, you got the basic Goo Gone or the alcohol rubbing pad. Some people said they've used hairspray. I've heard a lot of different solutions, but I think really what it comes down to at the end of the day is just be selective. Don't just pick up a pair of, say it was a pair of Kobe's. If they're beaters, if they have a lot of, ankle wear, wear, drag on the bottom, sometimes you got to pass them up. I think that's part of where people get caught in a bind with the sneaker cleaning is really just picking up everything in sight. Be a little selective and then use some of those products. There are some great tutorials on YouTube as well that you can check out of people who do this professionally. They just do use sneakers. You can easily see some of their ways that they clean foam brushes and things like that. But those are the basics.
Now, how about if the shoe smells like marijuana or nicotine from smoke? Can you get that smell out?
I've had a few of both situations, and generally what I'll do at that point is I'll make sure to use a laundry detergent that does have a fragrance. I personally myself don't use a fragrance laundry detergent for my own clothes, but I will do it in that situation to try to, mask some of the odor. Sometimes I've had to wash them actually a second or third time. If they still have that smell, I'll throw them to the side, throw them in with the next batch, and wash them again. And generally, it'll come out. I think the other thing you can do too is they do sell some, like sneaker balls that you can buy. You can actually pick them up at Ross. You'll see them from time to time over like in the sporting goods section. You can, throw those in the shoe if you got a dry day outside. Let them air out. Put the sneaker balls in. Let them sit outside for a day or two, and get that fresh air getting through them, and try to get some of that odor out. That generally will help as well.
Okay. For me, I haven't had the privilege to buy any shoes from a thrift store or Plato's, but for my personal shoes that do get beat, if you're watching YouTube, it's called Refresh Shoe Cleaner. I'm showing it on YouTube, and these are the people that are in the malls. I got this one at the LA County Fair, and I picked them up, and you see these guys cleaning, with tips and all that stuff. I mean, you tip them for cleaning, but that's worked great for me. Now, if it's really dirty, I just throw them in the trash. Like I can't even use them for around the house to do garden work or to do anything that's dirty. So I just throw them at the trash at that point. But this has worked great for me. And so that's all that I do. Now, second part to this question, Stevie, that this person asked is, what about leather wipes and how do you clean nubuck?
Well, nubuck is a specific, cattle leather. It's a top grain leather. And there's been treatment done to it. They sand it or they buff it on the grain side, like the outside of it, and it gives it almost like a suede kind of feel. Suede typically is when they do it on the inside, and a nubuck is when they buff it on the outside, and it gives it like a velvet-like feel. Now, the problem with nubuck sometimes is if you scuff, if there's a lot of toe drag or heel drag, you can scuff it up pretty bad, and it's tough at that point to really, get it out. Typically, what I'll do when I buy a leather shoe, like maybe I find a Cole Haan or something like that in a thrift, again, I'll just do my best that I can do with it, and then I'm just very descriptive of the flaws in the auction. Or if it's if it was a pair of Nikes that I can sell on Goat, again, I'm just very descriptive in the used shoe portion of what the flaws are with the shoe. And I think that's the biggest thing. If you're open and honest about what the flaws are, you'll be okay. But yeah, I would same thing. I would stay very minor. They do sell cleaners out there that you can use for a situation like this. Um, you can look online. There's tons of them that you can pick from. I think one of the biggest ones, there's one called Soft Sole is one that I've seen out there before. It's in like a black and orange bottle, and it'll say like shoe and nubuck, cleaner. There's a bunch of them that you can find on Amazon to use. I think Kiwi, which is another big, shoe polish company, they make one as well. A lot of times it'll say suede and nubuck in the same exact description. You can use those. Just be patient and don't oversaturate the shoe with the cleaner. Very sparing dose. Get in there with a little scrub brush, light rotation, that little wax on, wax off, real light, and let it soak in for a little bit, and then you wipe it off with a cloth generally. And it won't get it to day one clean, but it'll do a pretty good job with it.
Awesome, awesome. Also, another option would be finding a shoe cleaner. I remember this person said that they had 8 shoes from the thrift. Now, for me, I've taken a couple of shoes to a shoe guy by my mom's house, local person. They polished, they're professionals, they got some equipment. That might be an option as well. They might give you a good break because you are bringing them 8 shoes, and maybe you work out a deal because you're going to continue to bring more. So hopefully we provided enough information for this individual to have some success with buying shoes from the thrift store. Next question, Stevie, negotiating a price, both perspectives when buying and selling. Let's talk about the selling first. So let's talk about eBay. You get an offer. Uh, Here's a situation. You have a shoe listed for 150. It's a Vapor Max. Someone comes in at 100. What do you do next?
All right, so recently this has obviously changed a little bit with the $100 and above, no fees being paid. So you have a little bit of more leeway to play with. But listen, what I generally do is I have a set standard of what I like. I set a price high, like I've always said, I price my stuff high, and I give myself about a 10 to 15% negotiation, gap. So if I have it up at 150, obviously I leave myself with about $20 of negotiating. And that's it. And I don't use the full $20 in one shot because I know this is going to turn into a back and forth. So if I'm at 150, they come in at 100, I come in at 140. Let them come back at 110, 115. I go to 130. and see if they either hit it or if they counter again. But at that point, I'm done at 130. I hit 130, they fire back, I come back at 130 again. They might come back again, I come back at 130 again. That's just the way I am, and they know at that point that's my final. And a
Yeah.
lot of times, once they get to know, all right, that's his asking point, either they're going to just disappear at that point, or they'll pay up and get what you're asking for. But I always factor in for myself, again, about a 15%, you know, little gap there that I can use as a negotiating ploy. I don't ever price, say I want to get 100, I'm not pricing it at 105 or 110. If I wanted to get 100, I'm going to price it like 120, 125 to give myself that negotiation room. I know some people get annoyed by low ballers. They get annoyed by multiple offers coming in all day that are low. I'd rather have action coming in and be able to negotiate with somebody personally than setting a price and not taking offers at all. I know everybody's different, but I'm okay with having offers come in all day.
Yeah, for me, I just had a situation today. It's a size 13 shoe, is my size. It was a personal comp, Vapor Max, just didn't fit me, and so I put it on eBay. I listed it at 125, and I set my settings where anything below 100, I don't want to get any alerts. Well, I didn't get any alerts until a couple of days ago, but I did work it up to 10 watchers, and on top of that, Stevie, I was sending out offers. It said, send an offer. I would go 115, 110. No one bid. I got an offer for 100. I declined that because that's just too low for me. And then today someone bought it for 125. But for me, I'm always giving myself anywhere from 10 to $25 off of a product. So with the Vapor Max at 125, I'm only willing to cut loose at $15 max. Other than that, I'll just be patient and hold on.
See, and I think that's where it comes down to personal preference. Some people don't mind, the constant action on there.
Yeah.
Me personally, it doesn't bother me at all. There, I think it all just depends on what you want to deal with. If you don't want to deal with those, if you're extremely busy, you're on the road all the time, and you can't entertain all these offers coming in, we know people that we're friendly with that do not accept offers at all. They set it at their bottom, rock bottom price, and it's either take it or leave it. You got to find what works for you. But at the end of the day, that's what's been successful for me is giving myself about a 15% leeway to negotiate with people.
Yeah, definitely. Now, so let's talk about the other side of the business, and that's, buying. I know a lot of people do a lot of buying on eBay, or they'll do a lot of, flips from eBay to whatever other platform. So how do you tackle a situation? Now, let's turn it on you. You want to buy a Vapor Max that's listed at 150. What do you do next, Stevie?
Well, I think one of the things I want the buyer to know that I'm a serious buyer. When I come in with an offer, I'm not gonna come in at top dollar, obviously, but I'm gonna give a respectable offer out there and at least get their buy-in and know, hey, this is a guy who is interested. Let me negotiate with him and see what I can do. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Just like, the buyers and the sellers, everybody has their own opinion on what they feel the market value is. And I think you got to be patient. I mean, if you really scour eBay, there's a lot of steals that you can find out there, misspellings in titles, newer sellers that don't give a lot of descriptions or photos. You can scour and find some big time steals. Just make sure you come in with an offer that's respectable. No, if it's a $120 pair of shoes, you send a $25 offer, they're just going to deny it or ignore you. There's no point in wasting your time with that. Find a product that you feel, either if it's a personal cop or, if that's the case, just hit them with an offer, same thing, about 10 or 15% less than what your max is. Let them come at you and then come back again. If it's something that you're going to flip, I would probably be even a little bit more aggressive. I might come in at 20 or 30% under where I want my max to be, see if I can get them to come way down. If not, I'll come back up to that price. But, I'm a little bit more aggressive when it comes to a resale flip than a personal cop.
Yeah, with the personal comp, I never want to pay full asking price. That's just something that I don't do. I think I've seen people make, say comments like, I don't pay full retail price. And so, if it's listed at 150, I think 115 to 125 is respectable. And if you really want that, you just pony up and buy it. If not, you can remain patient and shop around maybe other platforms. But if I'm sourcing on eBay or any other platform, like you said, I'm going to be aggressive. I think sometimes I do appreciate the messages that I get and say, hey, what's the best price? I want to strike a deal with you. And you have negotiations like that rather than someone saying, okay, let me send an offer, and then you get upset. But there's times where people say, I really want this, give me a good price. And I'll look at where they live and I'll say, this is what I'm willing to do. And if they want to counter, then I say, forget it. You asked me a serious question. I gave you a serious offer. So I would say when sourcing, be aggressive, throw it out there. Or if you want to send them a message, you talk to them, get a feel, see if they respond quick, something like that. But you do have options. There's other platforms. And if you really like the item, I would just say pay what you feel like it's worth or what you would be willing to sell it for at your lowest price.
Yeah, and make sure too, one of the things I like to try to do is find somebody who has multiple items up. Maybe you can package together a deal with them and really work down the price, buying multiple items. So, make sure when you find an item you like, check their store and see if they have others that you want to pick up as well. Sometimes they'll cut you a bulk discount also is another thing I look at.
Awesome, awesome. Well, that was valid information. Hopefully, we found the solution for them. This next question is very interesting, especially, Stevie, you do a lot on social media. You got the YouTube channel, you got a family, you have a professional job, same thing like me. How do you keep up with family, work, and your side business? And for some people, they're not going to be, creating content and have the YouTube channel. But most resellers, they got families, whether it's, a girlfriend, a spouse, a wife, or even vice versa. Maybe it's the woman that's doing the full time and she has a husband and all that. So how do you balance it? Let's go Monday through Sunday. We'll go back and forth, but you start with Monday, Stevie. What's your schedule look like?
All right, so usually my work schedule doesn't change from week to week. So Monday for me is generally a 9 to 9 day. I work a 12-hour shift at my job. My wife goes in early, so I do get my kids on the bus and generally make their lunch before. So there's no time before work. At work itself, I do work a job where I have a little freedom of, hour break on a 12-hour shift. I do have access to my phone, so I can entertain offers while I'm there. And then I'll generally leave my job on a Monday night and hit my local Ross and Marshalls on the way home and see if I can pick up anything there. And how about you on Monday? What do you do?
Oh yeah. So Mondays, I'm a salesman, so I'm always on the road. I gotta go from my house to go see my first customer wherever that's at in my route. So I leave early in the morning. It does fluctuate. So typically in the morning I do listen to podcasts, and most of the time it's what I've recorded with people just to kind of I want to hear it, do some feedback, do some notes. So I work my day. I come home in the afternoon. Sometimes I'll hit a store on my way back home. uh, Sometimes I'll go to the market, run some errands, whatever, get back home, have dinner with the family. And every Monday, people don't know, but we record our show. So typically we do it 9 p.m. Pacific time, which is 12 a.m. your time. And I'm trying to do that by the time my kids are asleep. I got two kids, a 4-year-old and a 10-month-old, and then I want to spend some time with my wife. So that's what my Mondays look like. How about your Tuesday, Stevie?
All right, so Tuesday's usually an off day for me. So same thing, kids on the bus, and that's Monday through Friday, obviously. And then from 8:30 a.m. till 3:30 when they get off the bus, I'm outsourcing. So I'm out until they get off. I pick them up. That's my time. I get back to the house. And then it's family night. It's kids sports, homework with them, dinner with the family, spend some time with the wife, after their sleep. But that's more of a family night on Tuesday for me.
Yeah, for Tuesday, I go to work. When I go to work, I come home, have dinner. I do not schedule anything on Tuesdays. My Tuesdays are absolutely free, like you said, to spend with the family. So I'm not doing any edits. I'm not doing any interviews. I'm just devoting all my time to the family. How about Wednesday? What do your Wednesdays look like?
All right, Wednesday, typically I will work a 11 to 9 shift. So after I get the kids on the bus, it gives me about 2 hours in the morning to work on video edits for the YouTube channel, for taking photos. I like to try to get photos done in the early morning like that. So then maybe during dinner break at work, I can do some listing from my phone. Um, Anything I can package up. Now I do all my packaging also in the morning. So I get up at 6 a.m. I run to the storage unit, pull all my orders, pack them, come back, put the labels on, and that's usually by about 7:15 I'm clear, and that's when I start with the kid stuff in the morning. That's every single day I do it that way too. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
another day where I try to get photos done early and I list them during lunch break or something like that.
Yeah, for me, my Wednesdays, same thing. Go to work. When I come back, have dinner. At that point, I edit the finding solutions segment. And then once I edit that, I go ahead and upload it, get it ready for everybody to view on Thursday. So it drops right away. So those are what my Wednesdays look like. And then how about Thursday, Friday, Stevie?
All right, so Thursday's a day shift for me. I work at 9. That's the one day I work at 9 to 5. So 9 to 5, get out at 5. Now, my kids do have sports Monday through Friday. So some nights, like on that, I'll be there at the sports. The Wednesdays, the Mondays, my wife will take them to sports. So I'll do sports, come home, dinner, hang out with the family on a Thursday night. And then Friday's a copy of Tuesday. Again, I'm off on Friday generally. Um, 8 hour days sourcing again, come home, sports, family time, dinner. So, I got a couple nights a week where I am home with the family, spending time with them, having dinner. Dinner's a big thing. Listen, I'm married to an Italian woman. Anybody married into a big Italian family? I'm an Irish guy myself. Sunday dinners are huge,
Yeah.
so that's where we have the big family dinner. But my wife and her family did grow up on having dinner together every night at the table as a family. I come from a separated household where it was always eat on the run. So I do enjoy having the family meal anytime that I can possibly have it.
Yeah, for me, Thursday and Friday, nothing really changes with work. Uh, if I do schedule an interview for Thursday or Friday for the reseller's journey, that's typically going to be at the latest as possible. So if I do interview somebody on the East Coast, once again, I'm trying to do that around 8 to 9 o'clock. If it's somebody from the West Coast, then I'm trying to do 9, 10 o'clock. And then usually those Thursdays, Fridays, when everybody goes to sleep, that's kind of when I focus on the side business. So I really try to do as much as possible when everybody's asleep at night. Sometimes I wake up early and then I get a lot done as well. So now the weekends here, Stevie, Saturday, Sunday. Are you working at the furniture place? What's going on with your schedule?
Yep, I'm working all the time, man. So it's Saturday, generally, again, 11 or 12 o'clock till 9. I get out, and then I'll go out and do some sourcing afterwards at night. Sunday is a early morning. I actually get up at 6:30. I like to go grocery shopping myself because if my wife goes, it costs me about another $75 a week if she goes grocery shopping instead. So I do that from 7 to 8. Usually my kid has an ice hockey game around 9:30, so I hit his ice hockey game, and then I do get to work by 11 a.m. I work on 11 to 6 on Sunday. We close a little bit early. And then Sunday night, like I said, family dinner Sunday night, spend some time with the kids and relax. And one of the things that's consistent through the week, like you said, is I try to take photos anytime I can in the morning, and then I do my listing. I list all my items from my phone. I don't do any listing on my computer, and I list a lot of stuff while I'm sitting in bed at night, just relaxing. My wife usually crashes early because she has to get up early, so I'll sit in bed and just list stuff up, after everybody's asleep.
Yeah, Saturday and Sunday is really family time. We try to plan as much as possible. Once in a while, I will go sourcing on a Saturday, and if my wife and the kids, want to go to my in-laws or they want to go to Legoland or do something, that's really big without me, then I'll dedicate a Saturday to sourcing an area that I normally don't get to source. So I might go to the LA area, I might go to this, San Bernardino area, Riverside area, and then sometimes I have interviews on Saturday. Saturday nights, I'll usually do an interview. If not, it's an emergency, then I'll do it Sunday. But if I do an interview Saturday for a reseller's journey, then I do all the edits Sunday and then get that ready to upload to the podcast and the YouTube. And then I start the cycle all over on Monday. Now, if you have a family or you're starting a family, I think communication and scheduling is huge. I'm constantly telling my wife, I got an interview coming. I got this person coming up. I want to do this. I want to do that. What does the schedule look like? I only go a week out, Stevie. I'm not one of those people to plan, 2, 3 weeks, but it's just like, okay, I want to do this. I want to do that. What do we have upcoming? Any birthday parties, things like that. So yeah, communication's key. And then also, the spouse is key as well. They do have a big sacrifice, and we do devote a lot of time to create content for people to enjoy. And sometimes our family takes the back seat. So you do have to have a balance. I struggle with it personally. I don't know about you, Stevie, but I do constantly stay in communication with my wife to try to have that balance where everybody's happy, the audience, the family, and then the wife
Yeah,
and the
it's
business and the business.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a struggle to try to manage everything. I mean, I work. My job is it's basically a 48-hour a week job that I work running a large store. And, my wife works a full-time job as well. And it's, communication, like you said, is everything. It's everything. I do my schedule a month out at work. I have to. I have two assistant managers that work for me, and we have to submit a month in advance. So, communication from her as far as what my kids' sporting events are, what are the big family parties that we have to attend. I don't take weekends off unless it is an absolute dire emergency. I save it for my weeks of vacation time, or if my kid has like a major tournament. But I can't take off holiday weekends. We're blackballed at work from taking off any holiday weekends. That's where we make our money. So it's a lot of either weeknight parties that we go to or just major non-holiday weekends that I'll take off here and there, but I have to use vacation time. But the communication's everything. My wife knows that we film this podcast every Monday night late. Generally she's asleep when we do it, so that takes that out of the equation. But the sourcing is the biggest thing that early on when I started this was the biggest argument between the two of us, and one of the things that I had to sit down a couple times and have a serious talk with her and say, hey, listen, I'm not doing this, out of just sheer enjoyment or clout for Instagram or money that I can go gamble with, or do whatever I want with. I'm doing this for us. I'm doing this for the family. And, I really sat her down and told her early on, listen, the first year or so, there's not going to be a lot of profits coming out of this. You got to give me some time and let me build this up and grow this into something that is a profitable business. And she gave me the time, and I love her for it and thank her up and down for it. And, she understands, my dedication. I'm 1,000% or nothing. When I get involved in something, I'm 24/7, man. I'm on my phone 24/7, answering DMs, listing auctions, answering, bids that come in. I'm on 5 different platforms. We have our podcast that we do. I have my YouTube channel that I do. I mean, it's a lot of things on the plate just in this reselling portion, and she's been amazing with letting me do everything that I've done so far with this. And if it wasn't for that communication, I think it really would fall apart. And you got to also make sure that there's that family time. The family time is everything. You gotta listen. There's times where I'm itching to go out. I haven't been able to go out for 3 or 4 days because work's been busy. I got one of my leaders on vacation and I got to pick up extra shifts. Listen, there's times where you got to put that aside and you got to go, look, family first. We're going to go out, we're going to do this, no sourcing. I'm going to turn the eBay down for a few hours and just pay attention to the family and nothing else. And listen, especially if you have young kids, you only get that one time. You only get those moments once in a while. Those offers are going to be there. And if you're not there to answer it, so be it. There's going to be another offer that comes in. You got to make sure, obviously, that if you have young kids, you're enjoying that, that youth, those special moments, those moments with your significant other, and you got to work it both ways evenly. But I think that communication, if it's there in the long term, my wife now, she fully supports everything that I do with this because she knows it's a very significant portion of the income now that comes in that we can take those vacations. We can, pay for our kids' sports while not having to stress out. Like we said before in the past, my kids' hockey tuition's $3,500 next season. Where do you think that money's coming from? It's coming from this sourcing and the hustling that I do. And now that she understands that and feels that, she's comfortable with me doing what I do, but I'm also very open and honest about what my schedule is every week and where I'm going to be. Yeah, I think that really was what makes it work at the end of the day. It's a partnership, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think you got to be a good steward of your time and be a good listener. I think, when your partner's supportive, then go ahead and go out there and, if you want to source or whatever, that's a good sign that you have the support. And then sometimes, she needs your help. He needs your help, whatever the situation is. So that's something that I'm working on, and it is crucial in order to be successful. I think, to have that support system, it's key. And just learn your partner, listen to them, what they like, what they don't like, what times work for them. Maybe the kids are giving them a hard time, and it's just not there's just no need for you to go upstairs or downstairs and take pictures, and just be there for them. Let everybody knock out. If you got to massage your wife, I got to massage my wife's feet and her back probably every night. But if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. So, Stevie, where can people find you on social media except for YouTube, because you haven't come out with the new video
Well,
yet?
this is what we talk about, balancing time, and it's been ridiculous. And that's the one thing, listen, like you said, sometimes things have to be put on the back burner for a little while. And, right now I'm
Yeah.
going through, an expansion of my business and really taking on a lot of inventory. And, it's really cut into my YouTube time big time. But again, I plan on, once I get this all set up, I plan on being on there, putting out videos a weekly again. And Instagram is always stevie.d.reselling. I will always answer DMs. Like I said, bear with me during the workday. I'll get to you as soon as possible. I know sometimes I get DMs live in the store. Hey, here's the item number. Can you give me a quick heads up? I promise I try to get to everybody as quick as I can. But also YouTube, once I get settled in again, also stevie.d.reselling. How about you, Joe?
You can find me on Instagram at eBay Joey. And then also, if you want to follow the show's website, it's at A Reseller's Journey. So a lot of great things are happening. I'm working on some merch with another reseller. So I'm pretty excited about that, coming up with ideas. You might see a Jamal shirt out there. Who knows?
Hey, Jamal's the man. I live and breathe Jamal every Wednesday night. Everybody knows that. You know.
Yeah. So also want to thank the audience for tuning in. You can visit the show's website at A Reseller's Journey, where you can find the different platforms where the podcast is airing, and that's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google. I want to thank everybody that listens. I want to thank all the international support that we get for not only this show, but for the other shows. Everybody in Great Britain, Australia, Germany. There's some people in the Philippines. The show's really going out there. So I just thank everybody. Also, leave us some comments in the chat. Let's talk. Maybe we missed something. Maybe we didn't. If you want to have a private chat, you got two people here willing to answer your questions. So remember, never forget why you started.